The battleship that was never supposed to sink. The Atlantic Ocean, May 27, 1941. One of the mightiest battleships ever built drifts crippled in burning seas. Her guns are silent, her decks are shattered, and the Royal Navy closes in. But this story isn't just about how Bismarck sank. It's about how ambition, engineering, chance, and courage collided to change naval history. What destroyed her wasn't just firepower. It was a chain of small moments, some planned, some accidental. And it started long before the first shell was fired. In the years after World War I, Germany's navy was strictly limited. But when Hitler came to power, rearmament changed everything. The battleship Bismarck, named to evoke national pride, slid down the launchway in 1939. Over 250 meters long, armed with 8 15-inch guns, she looked formidable. But she, like all battleships, was a product of old thinking, designed for surface duels, not air power. Meanwhile, Britain, dependent on Atlantic convoys, saw those merchant ships as lifelines. Germany believed cutting them could force Britain to the negotiating table. And so, in the spring of 1941, Bismarck sailed into the North Atlantic. But the Royal Navy was already hunting. What neither side knew was that within days, a single engagement would horrify Britain and electrify Germany. And at the center, the Bismarck. As Bismarck steamed through the Denmark Strait, secrecy was vital. But neutral Sweden tipped off the British, and radar contact soon confirmed the worst. The Royal Navy scrambled. Hood and Prince of Wales raced to intercept. On May 24th, the battle erupted. In minutes, HMS Hood, Pride of Britain, exploded and sank, killing over 1,400 men. The shock was immediate. Churchill ordered simply, "Sink the Bismarck." Even as Prince of Wales landed hits that leaked precious fuel, Bismarck broke off to seek repairs. What had begun as a convoy raid turned into survival. And Churchill's words. Those words galvanized the Navy. From every corner of the Atlantic, forces converged. Bismarck was no longer the hunter. She was being hunted. The greatest naval hunt. For a brief moment, it looked like Bismarck might escape. She broke off contact, and even with damage, she was fast. The Royal Navy scrambled, but the slow fabric biplanes of HMS Ark Royal Swordfish launched into storm and flak. Their first torpedo run nearly ended in tragedy. Mistaking a Huck cruiser for Bismarck, they nearly struck a British ship. But lesson learned, they returned. One torpedo struck near the stern. Rudders jammed. Suddenly, Bismarck could only steam in circles, no escape. Admiral Lütjens signaled the truth. The ship could no longer maneuver, and as dawn approached, the horizon filled with British battleships. The final battle was at hand, a cinematic close to the story. The first light of 27 May showed the end. Surrounded, burning, her guns silenced, shells crashing in as Rodney and King George V closed in. The final battle erased her. Scuttling charges and British torpedoes sent Bismarck beneath the waves. Of more than 2,200 men, only 114 were rescued. The debate over whether she was scuttled or sunk continues, but her strategic impact was brief, her symbolic impact immense. In 1989, Dr. Robert Ballard found her wreck 4 kilometers beneath the sea. Her story endures because it shows how quickly power can turn and how resilience, technology, and circumstance decide fates. If you enjoyed this, consider subscribing for more deep dives into the defining battles, ships, and turning points of military history. And we'd love to hear your take. Do you think Bismarck still had a chance once her rudders were jammed, or was her fate already sealed? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next documentary.